The return of manhood, you feel it in the air. No simp moves here, now move with flair. Her debit card works too, so don't get it twisted. Deal with women strictly on the terms enlisted. Keep it simple, boy, learn the truth. The weak play games, but the strong bring proof. She can't shake a man who owns his terms. It's returning to fire and the world gon' burn. Jagged 20, you know the name. Dropping lessons on a name, playing the same. No pedestal, nah, don't elevate low. A queen only follows when the king says go. Too many masked up trying to impress. Losing themselves, caught up in the stress. Be the man, don't fold for the crowd. Speak your truth, strong will, stand proud. She earns a spot, but a king never bends for a second thought. No validation needed, power on reserve. Rule your world, let her match your nerve. Yeah, manhood restored, the king's in the game. Cags acting 20, remember the name. Strictly on your terms, you know what to do. Her debit card works, but the throne's on you.
You can't handle the truth.
All right, here we go. All right, so let me plug the joint right quick. Why women hold back from initiating sex in relationships. Why women hold back initiating sex in relationships. I do have a clip that I'm going to share with you guys and ladies. Shout out to Jillian, right? I do have a clip I'm going to share with y'all. Now, before we get to the clip, let me just say this. It's just a handful of y'all watching right now. But if you have a question, though, by all means, put a Q in the chat, followed by your question, and we're going to get to it. Let me plug the joint. Why women hold back from initiating sex in relationships. Before we get into this clip, let me just shout out some people that's up in here. You know, the early birds. Wicked Scorpion, Scary Perry, Linwood, Darius, and Miss Jillian T. Now, before we get into that, let me just say this. The only time sex should really be prioritized is in the beginning, and if you are actually in a sexual relationship, a fuck buddy relationship, a casual sex relationship, that's where sex should be prioritized. Of course, if you are in a long-term relationship, marriage, sex has its place. Sex has its importance, but sex should never be the main thing in a full-blown relationship. I'm not saying it can't be number 2 or number 3, but when you talk about a healthy, balanced relationship, right, sex has its place. It is extremely important that you guys are sexually compatible, right? But again, if we're talking about a casual sex relationship, sex is number 1, right? If we're talking about a long-term relationship or marriage, then the importance of sex is going to slide down a scale. It's still going to be important to the healthy balance of the relationship, but it shouldn't be number 1, right? So another thing I want to say is this. You know, I often talk about compatibility, right? Compatibility simply means existing in harmony without conflict. When we watch this clip that I'm going to show you in just a moment, what I want you to understand when it comes to compatibility is that you're going to witness these men having a conversation about sex and their women in relationships. And oftentimes, a lot of people aren't really compatible, but for whatever reason, people don't realize they're not compatible, right? Let me just say this, and this is not just about sex. This is about any aspect of your relationship, whether it's sex or non-sexual. If you find yourself arguing about the lack of communication, if you find yourself arguing about the lack of reciprocity, the lack of appreciation, the lack of gratitude, you feel like your voice isn't being heard, you feel like you're not important, your needs, wants, and desires are being pushed to the back burner, right? Essentially, you're dealing with somebody you're not compatible with. And why people haven't figured that out, for the life of me, I don't know, right? So let's go ahead and get into this shit. And then we're going to come back and I'm going to provide you with my commentary. Let me snatch this video up. Again, if y'all have a question, put a Q in the chat, followed by your question. Why women hold back from initiating sex in relationships? Let's go.
I can't be asking you for no pussy all the time.
Right.
You know I need some pussy.
That shit on my mind, gang.
No, I need some pussy. I don't want this shit. I need this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need this shit. You see all the fucking work. I'm over here. And then you don't want me to go get no pussy.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure I always got something.
Yeah. Yeah. Whether you mad at me or not.
You need to ask. You want some pussy?
No, you want some pussy? Right.
Before you let fuck all that.
Hey, you want some pussy?
How
much pussy you need? Eat that plate? How much pussy you need right now?
You know what?
Sometimes don't even ask me. Just tell me, look, your food in there. Go on and eat and get you a bath and get you some of this pussy so we can go to bed.
Okay. Yeah.
Makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah. Chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets and pussy. Nigga be acting like a little kid. Chicken nuggets and pussy. I know what to do with all that.
I'm in the tub playing like a little boy. Finna go get some pussy.
I'm loving it.
Wicked Scorpion, and that's exactly why their women aren't giving them any pussy. They're way too excited. Guys, I like sex too. I like it's warm, it's wet, it hugs you just right, it feels good. I understand. Sex is fun, it's great, all of that good shit. But you should never be that excited to have sex, right? I want guys to think about this. You should never be that excited to have sex. This is why your woman is not initiating sex. It's because she isn't excited, right? And that's the impetus, is that the woman isn't excited. Now, let me just say this real quick, right? Now, let me throw something up there right quick. Let me throw this up there. If a spouse has a sex problem, that can turn into your own sexual dysfunction over time. Okay, so here's the thing, and I want guys to understand something. When I tell you guys, right, appreciate you, Jazzy Jazz. Appreciate you, baby girl. Thank you. Appreciate you. When I talk to you guys about getting to the sex quick, okay, when I tell you guys, when you very first meet women, let women know exactly what's on your mind. Let women know exactly what you want to do. Now, part of it is so you don't waste your time on women who actually do not desire you sexually. But the other part of it is to see how cooperative the woman is, right? And here's the thing. I want guys to understand something about cooperation. When you very first meet women, right, there's a saying, how you start is how you finish. So the whole point of setting the tone of how it's going to be for a woman to deal with you is so she can understand that if she's going to deal with you going forward, whether it's a casual sex relationship or if it turns into a more meaningful relationship later on, that you are a sexual man. There are certain types of sexual activities you like. There's a certain frequency of sex that you like. And you're showing women at the very beginning, I'm a sexual guy, I like fucking, and I like these different things, right? These different fetishes, kinks, or whatever it is you're into. You want women to know that's what it is. So if that woman actually wants to be your girlfriend one day, then she understands what the assignment is. There's 3 things a man should never argue with a woman about: sex, your peace, and money. You should never, ever, ever argue with a woman at all about your peace, money, or sex. ever. You should never have those type of discussions where you're flustered or frustrated and you're arguing with your woman. Those things should never happen, right? And the first time that you meet any type of resistance or any type of situation where one of those three things have been disrupted, the chick got to go, right? Y'all got to remember, y'all are inviting women into your world, right? So if you are inviting a woman into your world, you know exactly how you like shit to be. You know how shit needs to run for you to feel like you're being fulfilled within that relationship, whether it's casual or more meaningful. You already know as a man how shit got to go. So from the very, very beginning, you have to convey that to the woman to let her know what it is. But again, when we talk about when you first meet women and you get straight to the sex, right? Again, part of it is you need to know that she's feeling you in that regard. Also, you need to see how cooperative she is when it comes to you setting up the time and the place. How down is she? Now, when you actually have sex, and this is the important part, when you actually have sex, guys, if you have a regular sex drive, right, average sex drive, whatever, and you like to have sex multiple times a week. Now, in the very beginning, when you first meet women, you should not be having sex with a woman you just met 2 or 3 times in 1 week. You're giving her too much access to you. And that's a whole another fucking video. You should not be seeing a woman you met a week ago 2, 3 times in 1 week. You're giving her way too much access. And if you fucking her that much, bro, let the pussy breathe. Let the pussy breathe and go to the next chick. Meet other women. So if you like having sex, 3 or 4 days a week, maybe you need to be seeing 3 or 4 women. Give it time for a woman to actually have you on her mind, right? Give it time for a woman to earn all that attention that you're giving her and all that dick that you're spoiling her with. Give her time to earn all that, right? But let's get back to the clip, right? So the guy was talking about how when he come home, why he got to initiate sex. Guys, if you're dealing with a woman who, 1, is not sexually attracted to you, 2, you guys don't have great sexual chemistry, 3, she ain't dickmatized, she ain't gonna initiate it. More often than not, she will not initiate it, right? Women who typically initiate sex are women who are sexually attracted to you. And they want it. They're fiending for it, right? So if you're the type of guy where you're in a relationship, even before you get to a relationship, let's back up. I'm putting the cart before the horse, right? And again, what are we talking about? We're talking about vetting, right? Vetting a woman. Before you get into a relationship, you want to make sure that everything that you require of her is being done on a consistent basis for an extended period of time before you even get into the relationship. And that includes the frequency of the sex. That includes whether or not she's initiating the sex. Now, let me say this. If you're dealing with a woman who's had a hysterectomy or she got some medical issues going on in her vaginal region, right, there will be exceptions where maybe sex is painful for her. Maybe because she had a hysterectomy or, she's going through menopause or whatever it may be. Maybe her libido is low. Maybe she doesn't get horny like she used to, right? And that's where communication comes in at, right? That's where your woman needs to come to you and say, baby, look, I want to fuck you anytime you want it, but it's just, I don't be feeling it like that. It don't get wet like that. I don't be thinking about it like that. I really don't get horny like that. She need to come to you and let you know that, and then she need to go, see somebody about that. But that's where communication comes in at, right? Now, again, if you're dating a woman and y'all been dating for a while, before you can even get to the point of whether or not you can seriously look at her as a potential girlfriend, if sex is that important to you, where you want women to initiate it, ask yourself this. Is she initiating it in the beginning? Right? Is she calling you up, damn near begging you for the dick, telling you she needed it in her life, she needed tonight? Is she texting you while she's at work, telling you, I'm thinking about you, I want it tonight, can I have it tonight? Right? If you guys stay together, you spend a night together, spend a weekend together, is she waking up in the middle of the night while you're still sleeping, you know what I'm saying, taking it out to draws and shit? Right? When you come home from work, if she's standing there, as soon as you open the door, she got a robe like this. She butt naked with the robe on, showing you that shit. And there are women who do that. I've been in relationships where as soon as I walk through the door, my woman butt naked, grab me by my hand, lead me to the room, you know, telling me I've been thinking about that dick all day. Oh, grabbing my hand, telling me feel it. It's been wet. It's been wet. I literally been looking at the clock, anticipating your arrival when you get home. She wet. I'm just thinking about it. I'm just thinking about when you enter me. I can't wait. Let's go. Right? If you don't got women talking to you like that, good chance that when she views you sexually, it ain't what you think it is. Right? This is why, look, guys, this is why we tell you guys that a woman simply having sex with you doesn't really mean anything. Right? A lot of these guys who convince women to have sex with them, they wine and dine women to have sex with them. They do all of these things to convince the woman that they're worthy of her vagina. These are typically the guys when they get into relationships where the woman starts to ration the sex to them because she was never sexually attracted to him to begin with. And then when they get into the relationship a year, 2, 3, 4 years later, they're like, she never initiates anything. I'm going weeks without getting no ass. My woman ain't even, and here's the thing. If you're living with a woman and she never attempts to touch your penis, bro, she's not sexually attracted to you. I'm telling you that right now. If you are in a full-blown relationship where you and your woman live together and she hardly ever, if ever, makes any type of initiation to actually touch your penis, she don't want it like that. She ain't feeling you like that. And if you can't figure that out, but you got some problems. All right, so so when two become one, is that not the third world? And does the world become one? I don't know, Jazz. You sound like you're talking about some Steve the Dean lingo. Yeah. So you probably got to ask Steve that, right? You know, so when we say the two becomes one, I want guys to understand something about when you and your woman become one. All it really is you and your woman being on one accord. Being on one accord. She knows exactly how you move, and she makes sure that how she moves is not in opposition of how you move. You're on one accord, right? So, and you need that, right? It's kind of like for those of you who are Trekkies, you know, they had the Borg, right? And the Borg would say you must assimilate, right? And when you deal with women, that's pretty much how it should be. She needs to assimilate, but you have to have a vision. You have to have a program, if you will. You have to have something going on for her to assimilate to, because it's not just you. Like, even when we talk about having a program, having a vetting process, it's bigger than you. It's bigger than you, right? Yeah, you're the one who establishes it. You're the one who cultivates it, but it's bigger than you, right? So me personally, when I tell you guys and ladies about having standards, right? You must have standards that you adhere to. You must have standards that you abide by. And those standards that you abide by or adhere to is basically your program. You must also adhere to your program, right? Because you can have a program, and then when a woman comes along, you deviate from it because you're pedestalizing a woman. So even when you have a program, right, you have to be disciplined, right, to make sure that you follow your own shit. Okay, this is why I tell you guys about having dating rules. The dating rules, it's not necessarily about the woman. The dating rules is about you policing yourself, making sure that the way that you move with women is within the confines of the program that you have for yourself. You never step outside of that. You never deviate. You never make concessions for women. See, when I talk about making concessions for women or making accommodations for women or compromising for women, if you have a program, you're never going to do any of those things because the woman is going to realize that you live your life by a code. You live your life a certain way and you adhere to those standards, right? So if she wants to fuck with you, she needs to adhere to the same standards. So Jazzy Jazz, when you say the two become one, you become one as far as both of you are following the same playbook. You're following the same playbook, right? So oftentimes when you're showing women shit, it's not always verbal. You don't always have to tell women, I want this, I need you to do this, I want you to do that. Sometimes all you got to do is just act. It's just do what you got to do, and a woman is watching you. She's following you. She sees what you're doing. So all she does is she mirrors you. She adapts the way that she moves within your life to what you're doing. So when we say again, so when the two become one, yeah. But again, and see, let me just say this real quick. And this is why, like yesterday, was it yesterday? Yeah, yesterday when we did a Real Gay No Theory joint, and you had the two females talking about if they had a man and he got really sloppy drunk, that they would lose respect for him, right? It's kind of like the same, it's kind of like your program. If a woman sees that you have discipline, if she sees that you're moving a certain way, and then she sees that you lose control and you start to get off the beaten path of your own program, you start to break your own rules, she can't respect you because in her mind, she's like, I'm deferring to you. I'm following you. But the shit that you have me deferring to, the shit that you have me following, you're inconsistent about following your own shit. So why should I follow it? Right? I don't know if y'all understand that. Let's go. Hold on real quick. And Jazz, I appreciate the 10. Appreciate the 10. Let me snatch this up. Again, if y'all got a question, I see a question right there. Boxing, I'm going to get to you in just a moment. I saw my homie Steve pop up in here. I just want to show some love to the homie. Cranberry juice, boy. Woo! So, again, let me plug the joint. Why women hold back from initiating sex in relationships. With the exception of some medical issue, more often than not, either she was never sexually attracted to you, or if she was, she lost sexual attraction. And I don't think that's talked about enough. Shout out to Steve. Right. I don't think that's talked about enough. Hold on. Let me move this out the way. So, and let me speak to that. Guys, you can meet a woman who is sexually attracted to you. A year later, y'all get into a relationship. She is still sexually attracted to you. A year and a half goes by. She ain't fucking you as much as she used to. She isn't as excited to have sex with you like she used to be, right? When she does have sex with you, she doesn't really get into it like she used to. If these things are happening, right, in all likelihood, exceptions aside, she is no longer sexually attracted to you, right? It could be because you gained weight. It could be because you're not taking care of yourself. Maybe you used to always take care of yourself, used to be Johnny on the spot with your appearance and your hygiene, and you're letting yourself go a little bit, right? People don't understand, just because you are in a relationship, you're not entitled to that person staying sexually attracted to you. This is why consistency is so important, right? This is why we always say the same things you did, right, to get that woman to fuck with you, you got to continue to do that shit. You can't change, right? So if you're the type of guy, you met a chick and you was taking her out all the time and y'all eventually started fucking, right? Your sex is going to be tied to date nights. So if you get into a relationship and you stop taking her out, she going to stop fucking you. Why? Because the sex is tied to date nights, right? This is why we tell you, don't be doing all them dates with chicks. No, you should be able to have sex with a chick on your terms without spending any money or very little money, and also without spending a lot of non-sexual time trying to convince her to fuck, right? A woman should want to have sex with you on the strength of you, on the strength of the fact that she gets horny, she gets sexually excited in your physical presence. She should want to have sex on the strength of that. Any dates that you do, any spending of time outside of sex, that shit should be a bonus. It should not be incorporated into the sex where there's an expectation on her behalf where you got to do these extracurricular things to get to the sex. This is exactly how dudes end up in relationships where women aren't initiating, because you're not doing any of the shit you was doing before with any type of consistency. But if you dealt with women strictly on your terms and you stop introducing things that you shouldn't be introducing because it's too soon, you can circumvent a lot of this bullshit. All right, so hold on real quick. Let's get the boxing's question. So he says, Coach, can a woman please herself on the phone with you and still hold back in person, or it's a trust thing? No. See, here's my rule of thumb. Here's my rule of thumb. If I'm not having sex, if I'm not having sexual intercourse by the second time that a woman and I are in each other's physical presence, it's going to be a problem, right? Now, the only exception is if, like, let's say I met her out and about, right? Now, this is the first time that we are in each other's physical presence. I also include when we first met. I include that as well. So let's say we met face to face, right? We hit it off. Right? I'm flirting, she's flirting, boom, boom, going back and forth. There's mutual interest. There's mutual genuine interest, right? So let's say I hit her with the phone number. We go out, right? We go out on a date. Now, I'm not doing the date to have sex with her, right? Because if I was that pressed for the sex, I wouldn't do the date. When I first met her, I would have tried to do something right then and there, right? So me doing a date has nothing to do with me trying to fuck her. Me doing the date has everything to do with the fact that I genuinely want to go out and I want her to join me, right? Now, while we're on that date, I'm still going to be flirty. I'm still going to be sexual. Once I realize that she ain't feeling me like that, I'm not going to see her a third time. It's not going to happen. Ain't no way in hell I'm doing a second date, right? Because if I do a second date, that would be the third time that her and I are in each other's physical presence. Now, for there to be a third time, this is the only exception, is if the first date, let's say her and I are talking about sex, and she says, hey, it's not a good night, and maybe she doesn't tell me why, but let's say for the sake of argument, she's getting over a urinary tract infection, right? That's going to keep most women from having sex vaginally, right? Let's say she just had a yeast infection, right? That's going to keep most women from having sex, right? Let's say maybe she started her period a few days ago, and this morning when she woke up, she is still spotting. Right? For any of y'all who dealt with women, y'all should know what spotting means, right? So let's say she woke up in the morning, the day of the date, and she is still spotting, right? For me, when I've been in a relationship and a woman tells me, baby, I want that dick tonight, and let's say she just got off her period, or she's getting off her period, and she says, I want that dick tonight, but I'm still spotting. I'm gonna tell her, no, I don't want to have sex with you right now. Let's wait until tomorrow. Because if I have sex with a woman that's still spotting, her period gonna start all over again. Okay, that's And I'm not saying that to like brag or nothing like that. I'm just saying that in my experiences, every time I had sex with a woman that I was involved with for a while, and she told me she was spotting, and I had sex the same night or the same day, her period started all over again, right? So let's say a woman is telling me that, and some women might be honest. She might be like, you know what, I would love to go home with you tonight and have sex, but my period is almost done. I'm still spotting. I'm gonna need another day or so, but I'll suck your dick in the car if you want. Or she might say, you're gonna have to settle for a blowjob. All right, cool, right? So it's still a sexual act. Yeah, we're not fucking. There is no penetration, right? But you know, she's slopping her brother down. She's slurping me up, right? In that case, we can link up a third time. But there's gonna be an expectation that sex is gonna happen, right? Because we're gonna talk about it. I'm not going to assume. Remember, I assume nothing, therefore I expect nothing. So we're going to talk about it. So if she slurped me up in a whip, or she go back to the crib and slurp me down or whatever, right? There's going to be a discussion about when we're going to link up again to actually have sex, right? So that's the only exception. But no, I don't play that waiting shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, we got to wait. We got to get to know each other. And I'm glad, Boxer, I'm glad you asked that, because it segues into something else I want to talk about. So this is what guys got to understand. Hold on real quick. Okay. And again, what we're talking about, why women hold back from initiating sexual relationships. This is what guys got to understand. This is the main reason why I don't like monogamous relationships. I don't like monogamous relationships. There's a couple of reasons, but the main reason why I'm not a huge fan of monogamous relationships is because if you agree to be sexually exclusive with one woman, she literally holds the keys to your sex life in her hands. I need you guys to understand it. If you are, and let's say you're a guy where you don't cheat, right? You're actually a faithful guy, right? And even if you were a cheating ass nigga, right? Which I don't advocate that at all. Either way, the woman still holds your sex life in her hands. In her hands. That's too much power. Yeah, there's a part in the movie Malcolm X, starring Denzel Washington, directed by Spike Lee. I think it came out in 92. Yeah, it came out in 92, I believe. Right? There's a part in that movie where Malcolm and all his Muslim brothers, the Nation of Islam, is a whole bunch of them, very militant type of situation. They go to a hospital, and Denzel, playing Malcolm, he's literally using his hands to control the movements of the men. And one of the police officers says, that's too much power for one man to have. Okay? That's how I look at monogamy and sexual exclusivity. I'm giving her way too much power over my sex life, right? There's a part in the clip. I don't know if y'all caught that. The clip that we just watched, where the guy said, even when she's mad at me, I did a video during the Christmas holidays. And I talked about that. I talked about your sex life with your woman, or any woman that you're dealing with, even if you're dealing with multiple women, it should be separate from the non-sexual shit. Your sex life should be separate from the non-sexual shit. So even if your chick is mad at you, she still wants some dick. Right? And I don't know what kind of relationships you guys have, but me personally, I cannot be in a relationship with a woman who get mad at me and say, oh, you on pussy punishment. Oh, you can't. Oh, you ain't getting this tonight. I'm irritated with you. That don't work for me. That does not work for me at all. You know what I'm saying? That don't work for me at all. But here's the thing, though. If you want it to be that way, you have to set it up from the very beginning to be that way. When you very first meet women, you have to establish those type of boundaries and parameters where when it comes to sex, if she fucking with you, there's a certain way you like for things to be. And if she can't meet those requirements, then she can't be your girl. And in some cases, you can't even fuck with her at all. But that's established from the very, very beginning. Right? And and I've seen posts where men and women are arguing on a co-ed panel, right? Where the woman is saying, "Oh, I'm not your sex slave." This nonsense about when you want to fuck, I should be ready. And my thing to any woman who says that, okay, your body, your choice. But how dare you obligate a man, or how dare you require sexual exclusivity, but you ain't fucking that man when he want to fuck? Okay, and I need you guys to understand that. Now, here's my thing about sexual exclusivity. You should never be sexually exclusive with a woman because she wants it. You should only be sexually exclusive with a woman because you want it. That's what you want to do. You don't want to have sex with any other woman but her. That's the only time you should be sexually exclusive is when you choose it for yourself. Never be sexually exclusive because that's the only way you can get the woman. But here's the reality of that. Most relationships, either the man or the woman does not want to be sexually exclusive. They just tell you what you want to hear so they can get into a relationship. So a lot of these relationships where people are swearing up and down, promising each other sexual exclusivity, a lot of motherfuckers is lying. They already know they're going to fuck other people. And in many cases, when people get into relationships and they promise sexual exclusivity, in some cases, they never stop having sex with other people. They've been having sex the whole fucking time. Right? Because a lot of people, they are in obligated monogamous relationships. Well, you know what? I really don't want to be faithful to one person, but I really want this relationship with that person. So they want me to be sexually exclusive? Fuck it. I'll say yes. I'll give it a try. Right? And sometimes you might really give it a try. And then you realize, this ain't meant for me. I need variety in my life. And there ain't nothing wrong with that. Right, so real quick, Joe Blast says, Zach, have you ever had any chick lose interest in you? Of course. Of course. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I've had plenty of chicks. I've had chicks that lost interest in me before we even fucked. I've had chicks who we talked about fucking, but our signals kept crossing, and eventually it just went by the wayside, right? I had situations happen where me and a chick, we fucking, she thoroughly enjoys it, but she just loses interest, right? But it ain't sexual. They're not losing sexual interest. It's not because of that, right? It could be because she found someone that maybe fuck her better and she liked that shit. It could be because of that. I don't know, right? It could be her ex-boyfriend came back into her life. It could be that. It could be there's a guy that she was seeing outside of me, and this happens a lot, right? And I've had this happen where I'm seeing a woman, we're having great sex, she can't get enough. She'll meet a guy, he doesn't fuck her like I fuck her, right? But he's willing to give her something that I'm not, and that's a relationship. So a lot of women, believe it or not, would rather have average or mediocre sex in a relationship than have great sex with a guy they like, but that guy don't want them, right? And I did a video talking about that where this one girl, she had a fuck buddy situation with this dude, and she talked about how the sex was great. She loved it. But the guy wouldn't give her no non-sexual intimacy or affection. So eventually, he lost interest. Although the guy was piping her down, and that's another thing. Good dick or great sex is not guaranteed to keep a woman around, right? And you shouldn't even be trying to keep a woman around. You should never have the mindset of, oh, I'm gonna fuck her so good she ain't gonna want to go nowhere. You should never think like that, right? Because your ego will be crushed, right? If you think like that, your ego would be crushed because you're gonna have a chick and you know you fucking the shit out of her. You know what I'm saying? She having full body shaking orgasms, convulsional orgasms, leaking every goddamn where, and then all of a sudden she just ghosts you, and you're gonna be like, man, I was dicking her down, man. What's up with that? What's up with that? And you're gonna be too much into your ego, not understanding that sometimes that's not enough for a woman to want to stick around when somebody is willing to love her. I'm just keeping it real with you. There might be a nigga that's willing to love her, and she might be at a point in her life where she really wants someone to give a fuck about her. And as good as you are in bed, you're just not servicing her emotional needs, and she need that. She need that. Now, I've had situations where a woman stopped fucking with me, got into a relationship. The guy was not that great in bed, so she hit me up, basically saying, hey, I'm in a relationship, but the guy that I'm with, he really ain't breaking me off like I want. You know, would you mind? would you mind letting me get some of that again, right? And basically, I'm her side dude while she's in her relationship. So she's getting what she wants. She's getting a great sex life, and she's getting a great relationship / non-sexual intimacy. So she's getting what she wants. She's just getting it from more than one guy at the same time, right? So y'all have had women lose interest in me, but I don't care though. You know what I'm saying? My thing is, look, women are free. Women are free to leave, right? Like Mike Tomlin says. What did he says? I want participants, not hostages. Something like that. I might have it saying wrong, right? But that's pretty much what I want. I want a woman to want to be there. I want a woman to wake up in the morning with a smile on her face, knowing that she's a part of my situation, even if it's just casual. When she goes to bed at night, I want her to go to bed with a smile on her face, knowing that she just saw me or just talked to me, and that she's a part of my situation. I want her to have that type of joy when it comes to me, right? Because those are the women that won't give you no trouble. Mark my motherfucking words. Those are the women that won't give you no trouble. Real quick, the homie with the 8, he says, shout out Kerry, you killed it on the last debate. You and the rest of the Real Game No Theory got more coming up. Yeah. We got something coming up next month. In about 2 weeks, I believe. Yeah, we got something coming up. Yeah, bro. We on it. Trust and believe. So Raymond Burnett says, when you're flirting with a woman, what are some fireable offenses we should look at for that woman either says or does when flirting with her? Well, that's up to you. Because here's the thing. I want guys to understand something. And by the way, if y'all haven't noticed, right, I got some T-shirts, and I got a T-shirt that has 0 tolerance, right? So this is what I want guys to understand. We're all uniquely different men, right? I don't have any patience. Patience is not my virtue. Let me tell you something real quick. And sometimes it's been to my detriment that I just don't be giving a fuck, right? When I was in the military, there was this girl from Louisiana, dark chocolate. She was dark chocolate. Anyway, her and I, we were doing our thing for a while, and you know, my first name is Carrie, right? My first name is Carrie. But when I was in the military, we used to call each other by each other's last name, right? So if somebody's last name was Jackson, even though his first name was Reggie, we would just call him Jackson, right? So my first name is Carrie, right? And I'm saying that for a reason. But I had a homeboy. His last name was Perry. His last name was Perry. So one day, I'm walking on base here at Fort Sam Houston, in San Antonio. I'm walking on base, and the girl that I'm dealing with is talking to another group of girls. And somebody mentions Perry. right? They're talking about Perry, right? They're not talking about me. But when the girl says Perry, I thought she said Carrie. So she said something like, fuck a Perry. I thought she said fuck a Carrie, right? So I heard her, she didn't see me. So I thought she said fuck a Carrie, right? But when I heard it, she didn't see me. I just dipped on out and I said, I'm done fucking with her, right? So a day or so later, I saw her she kept trying to walk up to me and I kept waving her off like, get away, right? Because I really thought she was talking shit about me, but it wasn't me that she was talking about. But I jumped the gun. I jumped the gun, and because of my mindset of I ain't got no patience and no tolerance, even though I fucked up and misheard her, because I was already so far into that direction of not fucking with her. Once I realized, because she told me I wasn't talking about you. I said Perry, and I was like, oh, and it's too late. I ain't fucking with you. so I still went through with it. Like in my mind, I already got rid of you. So yeah, my bad. I misheard you, but it's over anyway, right? So that's what I'm saying. Sometimes it's to my detriment, right? That I'm that way, right? But I'm not changing for shit. But this is what I would tell you guys. You need to decide for yourself your do's and don'ts and deal breakers. So what I mean by that is this. There are going to be instances where women may say and or do something, but they literally don't mean to be disrespectful. They don't mean to, right? They're just used to other men, letting them get away with shit. Or they're used to other men letting them do shit where maybe it's not a big deal to those guys, but it's a big deal to you. So all you got to do when a chick does something, you have to look at it and weigh it for yourself. And you have to say, okay, that shit she said or did, that was blatant disrespect. So I can't fuck with her no more. Then there's going to be other instances where you got to look at it and say, you know what? I don't think she meant to be disrespectful, but I still got to check her though. Like you still got to check her and let her know, hey, look, just so we clear, I don't know what kind of men you're used to dealing with, but that shit you said or did, that don't work for me. So if you fucking with me, I'm gonna need you to understand that can't happen again, right? And you just let her know what it is, but make sure you're stern about it. Don't be passive about what you're saying. Be very assertive and very stern with what you're saying, because although she didn't mean to be disrespectful, you still need to let her know that no amount of disrespect will be tolerated, accidental or otherwise, right? You got to make it clear so you don't have no run-ins again. And again, it goes back to everything I tell you guys. When you very first meet a woman, if you want your life to be easier, if you want to minimize drama, you need to cultivate the type of situation you want early. So the woman already knows how to operate or how to conduct herself when dealing with you. You need to set those parameters early, right? Some of it involves verbal communication. A lot of it involves you just doing you and being consistent, and a woman is just peeping what you do and she's just following suit, right? So I hope that answers your question, fam. Hold on real quick. Okay, again, guys, if y'all got a question, put a Q in the chat, followed by your question. I feel like I missed a question. Let me go back. And I'm not going to be here that long, ladies and gents. So, get it in before I get up out of here. Again, if you got a question, put a Q in the chat, followed by your question. I think I got all the questions. It looks like I got the questions. Yeah, look like I got the questions. All right, real quick. Let me take that off. See, now like the indifference and the abundance mindset. Yeah, bro, I'm very indifferent. Like, I'm not emotionally invested in anything that doesn't serve me. Let me say that shit again. I am not emotionally invested in anything that doesn't serve me. So even when it comes to women, right? Now, I have no problem being emotionally invested in the right woman, But even in those scenarios, it's going to take some time for me to get to that point. Because see, a lot of guys, they get emotionally invested because of how attractive the woman is. They get emotionally invested because of the sex and how they're feeling, right? They feel some type of way when a woman is around them. So they get emotionally invested in that shit. I don't get emotionally invested because a woman and I are enjoying each other's company. I don't get emotionally invested. I get emotionally invested when I see a woman is actually showing me deference, humble submission, and respect, and she's actually doing things beyond the bedroom, right? I need you guys to understand. She's actually doing things beyond the bedroom to show me that she is so much more than just someone I'm having sex with, right? Where she's going out of her way to basically show and prove that she got something to offer to the situation other than her body. She's campaigning and auditioning for a role in my life beyond a fuck buddy, right? So as I'm peeping what she's doing, right? If I'm feeling what she's doing and she's doing it with, consistency, and I feel like there's potential for her and I to explore something more meaningful, right? Then I'll start to add things to our situation. Okay, I might start to take her out, right? I might tell her, hey, look, why don't you get takeout? Like she might call me and it might be a sexual rendezvous, right? We're just, you know what I'm saying? Like we're used to. And I'm gonna be like, we're gonna do that, girl. I promise you I'm gonna beat it up like you like, but I'm gonna need for you to do this though. I'm gonna need for you to do this. I'm gonna need for you to stop and get some takeout. There's a movie I want us to watch. So what we gonna do is when you get here, I'm gonna beat it up. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna beat it up. You know what I'm saying? Make sure I get an appetite worked up. Then we gonna heat that food up. We gonna watch this movie and we just gonna enjoy each other's company tonight. So I might introduce that. That's where I start to become emotionally invested, not because of how I feel about her, but because she's doing things. She's showing me that she's offering tangible value to my situation, right? Where I'm starting to look at her and be like, all right, this might be a person I need to look at as someone I can date seriously. Then and only then will I become emotionally invested. Then and only then will she might be surprised, like this nigga actually care. Yeah, I mean, you're giving me a reason to care. You're giving me a reason to be a little more considerate and thoughtful than I've been, right? Because you're showing me you're much more than just someone I can have sex with, right? So I'm gonna go ahead and grant you that. Not in all cases. Not in all cases. Yeah, she earned it. Yeah, not in all cases. I can't give that to every woman, right? Because there are some women who they try to get my attention by doing shit for me outside of sex. But in my mind, I'm like, nah, I'm like, girl, I see what you're doing, but you will never be more than what you are right now, which is a fuck buddy. So it didn't matter what the chick was doing. She couldn't put herself in a position for me to elevate her. Like that's the role you playing in my life. It will never change. So he says, Kay, I've been a side dude way too often and seen things these red pill fools wouldn't believe. Have you seen the same? I can't even say it on there. Bro, I made videos talking to bro. Let me tell y'all something. There are women out here, based on how they move, that you wouldn't believe do the things that they do. I've been a side dude. I've seen so many different scenarios. I've been a side dude where women had me at their house while the guy was out of town. Right? I'm all up in the refrigerator. There's a big bag of Doritos. The chick is like, oh, those are his. I take down the Doritos. I'll open them joints up. I'm all in his Dorito bag and shit. Licking my fingers. Let me stop talking shit. True story though, but let me stop talking shit. Well, my point is this. I've had those situations happen. I've had scenarios where I was a girl's side dude for like 3 years. 3.5, well, 3.5 years, about 3.5 years. During that time frame, she'd been through like 2 or 3 different boyfriends. In that time frame that I was her side dude, she had 2 or 3 different boyfriends, and I was her side dude the whole time. Right? So, right. So, and I've seen a lot of shit, and I'm with you. I'm not gonna say it all on here, but this is why I say a lot of guys, they think they understand women, but for you to truly understand women, you would have to have dealt with women in so many different aspects, right? So if you're the type of guy where you've never had a one-night stand, right? Where you've never had a threesome, where women didn't share you, or a woman told one of her friends, "Hey girl, he know what he's doing," and a friend is like, "Ooh, can I have some of that?" If you've never been in these type of scenarios, if you've never been a side dude or whatever, you're gonna have a limited understanding of just how much women like sex. You're not gonna have a deep understanding of guys actually being in a relationships where they're being settled for, but they don't realize that the woman is settling for them. But when you're the side dude, you got a front seat. You got a front row seat to see that she don't even like bro like that. She fucking me. She don't even like him like that. But he can't see it because he's so lost in a relationship, he can't see it. Right? But there are so many other different things. Once you've dealt with women in all different types of situations, you just see shit differently. So when guys are taking 3 hours to convince a chick to have sex, and he don't know that another dude talked to her for 5 minutes. But in his mind, because he's never been that guy that women lusted over, he can't see it. He'll never know. So, man. So, yeah. So, as far as being a side dude, I try to avoid that these days, because these dudes these days, bro. See, back in the day, when I would deal with a chick that had a man, and if the man found out or something like that, the dude will dap up. He'll dap me up, and he'd be like, "Hey, you know what I'm saying? Game recognized game. I could tell she fucking with a player. I ain't mad at that. That's how it's supposed to be." In his mind, that's how he looked at it. If she gonna cheat on me, she must gonna be cheating with a dude that got some game. Cause that's, you know what I'm saying? So he wasn't even mad and shit. He was like, it is what it is. Right? But most guys, they don't look at it that way. They be ready to crash out behind a woman. Mike Shane says, what things should she do to make her go further than first level? Bro, guys, that's up to you. Look, let me tell y'all something. Let me just break this down, Mike Shane. Okay, this is what I'm here to do, bro. I'm here to give you a perspective you never thought about. Right? I'm here to kind of help you find your way. Right? Let's take women out of it. Mike Shane, let's take women out of it. Right? I'm here to help you find your way so you know exactly who you are. Once you become in touch with who you really are, right, and you understand your purpose, you understand what drives you and all that other shit, you're automatically going to look at dating differently, right? Because your perspective has changed. Your mentality has changed. How you view yourself has changed. How you view women has changed. How you view yourself in relation to women has changed. How you view sex even has changed. So when that happens, you're automatically going to make adjustments in your life, right, to adapt to your new mentality, right? So you have to ask yourself, what do you want? Right? What do you want? Right? Every time, if y'all pay attention when we do the Real Game No Theory joint, or any of these live streams that any of the fellas do on their own channels, or even the Manhood is a Skill Set show, inevitably, there's always a guy at some point who calls in one of these live streams, and he'll say, I'm looking for a girlfriend. I want to be in a relationship. And then you ask him why. Why do you want a girlfriend? These dudes can't even answer the question. They can't even answer the question. And then when they do answer it, it's usually superficial shit. Oh, I just want somebody. I just want someone I can come home to. Right? And what it really is, most guys, this is what most guys really want. Most guys really want, okay, listen to what I'm about to tell you. Hold on real quick. And what I'm about to tell you, the proof of it is in the phone calls that we get. This is what most guys really want. Most guys really want a woman that they can have raw sex with on a regular basis. That's what they want. Most guys want a woman they can have raw sex with on a regular basis, and she ain't fucking nobody else. But they're not in a relationship. Now, peep what I just said. Let's go back. Most guys, or a good number of men, they want a woman they can have continuous sexual access to, where they can have unprotected sex with said woman, but he's the only guy fucking, and they're not in a relationship. Most guys, that's what they want. This is why a lot of these guys, all that spend the night shit they be doing, taking showers with chicks, Netflix and chilling, sharing meals and shit, but yet none of these guys are in relationships with these chicks, right? Because they want the girlfriend-boyfriend experience without the actual commitment of the relationship, right? And I got a client. Now peep game. I'm gonna go a little deeper with it. Peep game. I got a client, and I hope he's watching. And if he ain't watching, I hope he watches the upload. And if you don't, I'm gonna tell you about what I'm about to talk about. So I got a client who he has a main chick, right? And he really, really, really cares for this woman. Like and I tell him all the time, I'm like, that's your girlfriend right there. Y'all are a couple. He like, nah, Zach, we're not in a relationship. And I'm like, everything you do is what girlfriends and boyfriends do. So what's happening is, and the reason why he doesn't want the girlfriend-boyfriend label, now where I'm going with this, I'm about to say something. The reason why he doesn't want the girlfriend and boyfriend label is because when he goes out with his boys or he goes out in the world, he does not want the obligation of having to tell women he got a girlfriend. The people I just said. And women, this is a nugget for y'all. When he goes out in the world and women ask, do you have a girlfriend? He wants to be able to say no. Although he wants a woman who conducts herself like a girlfriend, and he conducts himself like a boyfriend. They do everything that girlfriends and boyfriends do, except he doesn't want the girlfriend-boyfriend label because he wants to be able to tell women, I don't have a girlfriend, right? That's why a lot of these guys do what they do, right? And all they do is create drama for themselves. And this guy that I'm talking about, shout out to you, he got drama in his life behind doing that, right? So you just got to know what side of the fence you're on and get on it. You know what I'm saying? There are far too many guys, straddling the fence. You know what I'm saying? No, that's not. As men, we don't straddle the fence. We know what we want and we get to it, right? So I'm just saying, it is what it is. And a lot of guys, they want in-house pussy, right? This is why when you hear guys say, oh, I'm tired of having sex with all these women. I just want one woman. And it sounds like a stand-up thing, right? It sounds like a man who got some values, right? Oh, I just want one woman. No. He wants in-house pussy because it's easy sex to get, because he's tired of going out trying to procure new sex. He's getting tired of going out getting rejected. But if he got this woman that he's fucking on a regular basis, raw sex, might I add, Right? He's like, I'm good. Now in his mind, he's like, now I'm not pressed to hit on women anymore. Right? Because I got this girl right here that I'm fucking. So a lot of times when guys, they want a girlfriend, they really don't want a girlfriend. They just want the experience of having a girlfriend without the obligation of having to tell people they got a girlfriend. Right? So hold on real quick. Okay. So he says, women often ask me, when was the last time you had sex? How should you respond to that? See, this is what you should tell her. This is what you should tell her. I tell you what. Why don't we go back to my place? And when we're done doing what we're about to do, you can ask me that question. How about we go back to my place? And when we get done doing what we're about to do, then you can ask me that question. Or you can tell her, if she asks you, when was the last time you had sex? Well, you know, I'm going to go ahead and say tonight. Oh, you had sex tonight? No. I'm going to go ahead and say tonight because you and I are about to go do that, right? So that's what I'm saying. You ask me when the last time I had sex, it's going to be tonight. You know, you and I. Let's make that happen. Right? And let me just say this real quick. Guys, don't get caught up in women asking you about sex. Don't get caught up in that. Okay, and what I mean by that is this. Just because a woman broaches the topic of sex doesn't mean she actually wants to fuck you. Right? Don't get caught up, right? And let me just say this as well, and I want guys to understand. Anytime women ask you something, and it's a very pointed question, it almost seems like a question where you scratch your head and like, why would she ask me this shit? Anytime women ask you shit like this, there is a specified reason why they're asking you. There is a reason, right? And whatever your answer is going to usually determine what they do next, right? So this is what I would say to guys. If you had sex yesterday, don't tell women your business. Do not tell women your business. And don't ask them, why you want to know that? Don't do that either. Okay, now, you don't even got to answer it. You can be like, girl, we grown folks. Don't be asking me no goofy shit like that. Right? You can tell her that too. Girl, we grown folks. Don't be asking me no goofy shit like that. Or you can straight up tell her, that's none of your business. Right? Because if you asked her that, you know what I'm saying, she probably would tell you it's none of your motherfucking business. Or she might tell you the truth. You fuck around and ask a woman when the last time she had sex. She might fuck around and say, just before I met you out here. There are some women that they'll tell you the fucking truth, right? Me personally, I don't ask women any questions about the last time they had sex, and I don't ask them questions, right? Number one, it's none of my business. Number two, I'm not here to talk about what she did with another man. Okay, I'm here to talk about what she's gonna be doing with me, right? So even with your question, you know, a woman asking you when the last time she had sex, or last time you had sex, she need not be concerned about any other woman, right? If she is that curious about what you did with your penis, then she needs to go ahead and be the last person that you had sex with. That particular day she's asking that question. Like you worried about the wrong thing. If you ain't trying to get up on my joint, why are you asking me about my shit? You know what I'm saying? That's how I feel about it. Don't be asking me about my shit if you ain't trying to get up on it. So what's up, homie? Hey, y'all go check out the homie. He got a YouTube channel, Quizlo Speaks. He also, you know, he got presence on the gram and shit. So y'all check the homie out. He says a lot of women will still mess with you on the sense of you keeping it 1,000. About you being in a relationship. Ask me how I know in the K-Tag voice. Yeah, bro, look, let me tell y'all something. Do y'all know? and see, and you have to be with enough women to know this as well. There are some women believe it or not, who actually get off on knowing that you're dicking women down the way that you're dicking them down. Like, I've literally had women that I was dealing with who knew I was dealing with other women. Like, right after a session, a sex session, they would say, now wonder I don't see you during the week. Because if you dicking them other chicks down like you dicking me down, you stay busy, right? Or they might say some shit like, are you doing what you're doing to me with those other women? And my thing is, wow, you want to watch? That's what I would say. You want to watch? And every time I say, do you want to watch? There's a pause, like the woman is thinking about it. Like the woman is thinking about it, right? So even in those scenarios, you can have a threesome pop off just by a woman asking you, are you dicking me down? Are you dicking those women down like you dicking me down? Wow, you want to watch? You can see for yourself. You know what I'm saying? But that's just me though. You know what I'm saying? Anytime a woman brings sex to me, I'll take it to a whole other level. Guys, if y'all have a question, put a Q in the chat. I'm about to get up out of here. Why women hold back from initiating sex in relationships? For those of you who are new here, you just came in, I'm going to play this clip again so y'all can understand the gist. Hold on real quick. What the hell? Okay. Okay, so y'all can understand the gist of why I'm talking about what I'm talking about.
I can't be asking you for no pussy all the time.
Right.
You know I need some pussy.
That shit on my mind, gang.
No, I need some pussy. I don't want this shit. I need this.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need this shit. You see all the fucking work. I'm over here. And then you don't want me to go get no pussy.
Yeah.
So you need to make sure I always got something.
Yeah. Yeah. Whether you mad at me or not.
You need to ask. You want some pussy?
No, you want some pussy? Right.
Before you lay, fuck all that.
Hey, you want some pussy? How much
pussy
pussy you need?
before you eat
plate? How much pussy you need right now?
You know what? Sometimes don't even ask me. Just tell me, look, your food in there. Go on and eat and get you a bath and get you some of this pussy so we can go to bed.
Okay. Yeah. Makes sense. It makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah. Chicken nuggets. Chicken nuggets and pussy.
Okay, I can't watch no more. Those guys are clowns. You should never be excited like that to have sex. Okay, you should never be that excited. Like, as great as sex feels and as fun as it is, you should never be that excited. So let me say this. Me personally, let me tell y'all what makes me want to have sex with a woman, right? And I don't want this to be lost on anybody, right? So I got to slow down and make sure that I'm understood. Let me tell you what makes me sexually desire a woman. What makes me sexually desire a woman is a woman who wants my dick. Okay? So let's slow it down. Let's revisit it. I'm going to break down what I mean. What makes me sexually desire a woman, what turns me on and makes me want to give a woman some great dick, is a woman who wants my dick. I cannot get sexually turned on by a woman who doesn't want my dick. I can't. Right? So even when I have approached women that I just met, yeah, visually, I like what I see. Visually, I like what I see. But when we have a conversation, once I introduce myself, right? If she isn't showing me sexual interest, okay, that's one, right? Because this is the thing. A woman showing you immediate sexual interest leads to sex quickly. Once you have sex, you know right away whether or not you and that woman are sexually compatible, whether or not there's sexual chemistry. What you also find is how into the sex the woman is. So what typically happens is, right, if the woman really, really was into what you were doing and she wants to see you again, she's going to be reaching out to you. She's going to be the one. Before she leaves your house, she's going to be the one that might say I hope this wasn't a one-time thing. Ain't no way in hell I'm going to let you dick me down like that and I only get it once, right? When am I going to see you again, mister? Because I'm going to need that shit again, right? So a woman is already starting out showing you that she got to have it, right? So now all you got to do is maintain the momentum of that attraction and be consistent, right? So she's already showing you out the gate. Yo, let me tell you something. Every relationship that I got into, every single woman was addicted to the sex or intoxicated by the sex. All of them were. All of them were the type of chicks, they would be at work and they would be sending me pictures of their coochie, or they'll be, in their car on a lunch break and they'll take a little video and send it to me. I can't wait for you to get up in this later. I can't wait for you to ravage her, right? All this type of shit, right? Or I missed that dick. I'm going to need that tonight. I'm stressed, right? All of that type of shit. If you're not getting that on a regular basis, then chances are you're dealing with a woman who isn't all that sexually attracted to you. Not only that, but the sex you're having, it might be good for you because you're getting your little nut off, but for her, she can take it or leave it, right? So a lot of times, even in relationships, women are having sex out of obligation. They're not having sex out of desire. Don't let that go over your head, right? I don't want to be in a relationship where a woman is having sex out of obligation, right? I want her to want me out of desire. So if I'm in a relationship, hypothetically speaking, y'all know I don't do the monogamy shit, right? But if I was in a relationship, once a woman's sexual desire for me started to wane, right? That relationship is probably going to be over. And the reason why is because you got to ask yourself this question. There is a big difference between a woman no longer desiring to have sex at the rate that she used to because her body has changed versus a woman no longer desiring to have sex with you. So her libido is still high. She still got a high sex drive, but she don't want to fuck you though, which means she's fucking somebody else. There is no way you're going to get a woman who loves dick, who has a high sex drive, who has a healthy libido, and she only fucking you once a week, 2 or 3 times a month. It ain't gonna happen. I've been in relationships where chicks wanted it every day. Every day. Look, guys, I've been in relationships where the women wanted it every day. Well, let me not say women. Okay. Well, some of them was cool with like 4 or 5 times a week, but some of them wanted it every day. Every day. Every single fucking day. I had a chick, she wanted it in the morning. She wanted it during the day if she could. As soon as she got home from work, she wanted some more dick. Late at night, before she went to bed, she wanted some more. Like for real. And let me just say this about that. Okay, this is very, very important. Okay, because we're talking about sexual appetite and sex drive, right? Guys, if you have a high sex drive and a woman has a low sex drive, like legitimately her desire to not want to fuck you is not necessarily because she doesn't find you attractive. It's because her sex drive is low. That happens, right? It could be medication she's on. It can be birth control. There's so many different things that happen to a woman's body that fuck up their desire for dick, right? But if there's nothing going on like that, and a woman just has a low sex drive, and you have a high sex drive, you guys are not compatible. It would not be smart for you to get into a relationship with her unless she understands that because of her low sex drive and the infrequency y'all gonna have sex, that you're gonna be dealing with other women. Like, let's say you're dealing with a woman and she's a great woman, great woman, high character woman. She do everything that you require. She got your back. She holds you down. But there's one problem. Her sex drive is low, right? If you get into a relationship with that woman, right, you got to let her know, hey, look, I got mad love for you, but I'm going to be dealing with other women. You got that little issue right there, and she need to be good with that, right? But tell her the truth, though, right? Conversely, if you have if you're the type of guy where you can have sex 2 or 3 days a week with your woman and you're good with that, but you got a woman who wants it every day and she's literally waking you up damn near every night, taking it out your drawers and shit, and you get to the point where you feel like, girl, I can't fuck you every day. I just can't. And it's literally becoming problematic. Then what that tells you is you're not compatible with that woman. Right? So I'll put it to you like this. I'll put it to you another way. If you're single, right? If you're single and you're dealing, excuse me, let's say you're dealing with 2, 3, maybe 4 women, right? You're kind of alternating women in and out. You're dealing with 2, 3, maybe 4 women. And let's say you're having sex 3 or 4 days a week. Right? 3 or 4 days a week. Sometimes 5, but on average 3 or 4 days a week. Now, bear in mind you're single, right? You're single, dealing with multiple women. You have sex on average 3 or 4 days a week. What that means is if you get into a relationship, your woman needs to be able to cover that frequency, right? So if you're used to having sex 3 or 4 days a week with multiple women, and you get into a monogamous relationship where you're willing to be sexually exclusive, your woman needs to understand that you like fucking 3 or 4 days a week. Now, the onus is on you to make sure that she desires you sexually to the point where 3 or 4 days a week is doable, right? Because you don't want to be in a situation where you're arguing with your woman. Again, there's 3 things you should never argue with a woman about. You shouldn't be arguing with women, period. But there's 3 main things you should never, ever have to go back and forth about. Money, your peace, and sex. It should already be understood what it is. But the onus is on you to make sure you're selecting the right woman to be in a relationship with where she actually enjoys your sex. And I would say this. Food for thought. Only get into relationships with women that are more sexually attracted to you than you are to them, right? I'm not saying you're not sexually attracted to the woman, right? But also when it comes to sexual desire, get into a relationship with a woman who she's more addicted to your sex than you are with her, right? You shouldn't be addicted to no sex with women. But what I'm saying is get into a relationship with a woman where she's more about it sexually than you are, right? Because here's the thing. When you look at relationships and you look at a lot of frustration with guys and a point of contention with guys, sex prominently factors into a lot of guys' gripes, right? You just saw the clip where these guys are griping. Guys talking about, my woman doesn't touch me. My woman doesn't initiate sex. When we do have sex, she's just laying there. She's not really into it. When we do have sex, it's few and far between. There's millions of guys who complain about that, right? But it's their fault, right? It's their fault because you failed to communicate to your woman, what's expected, right? And it's not necessarily you verbally telling a woman. It's not about you verbally telling a woman, yo, if I'm going to be with you, girl, we got to fuck 3 or 4 days a week. You don't necessarily have to verbally tell a woman that. Okay, while you're dating her, you can show her. You can show her your sexual appetite. Women aren't dumb. Women can figure it out. Women know when they got a very sexual man on their hand where he just like to get it in like that, right? But even in the very beginning, women should know that you're sexual in the very beginning. Because I'm going to tell you, If a woman made you wait weeks, if not months, to have sex for the first time, she's going to do the same thing again in the relationship. I need guys to understand that. Guys, look, whether it's conscious or subconscious, once a woman realizes that she can make you wait for sex and you actually wait for sex, that means you're dealing with that woman on her terms, right? That means the sex is based on what she wants and when she wants it. It had nothing to do with you, right? She's basically leading that dynamic. So if you start off, whining and dining chicks, going out on multiple dates, the woman is making you wait for sex, what's going to happen is later on in a relationship, months later, years later, whatever it is, it's going to manifest itself again because the woman already knows I'm the one controlling shit. So she'll do it again. If she get mad at you, if she get upset with you about something, right? This is why a lot of guys, when women act up, they really don't check their women because they feel like, man, if I check her and if I let her know what it is, right, she gonna get mad and she ain't gonna want to fuck tonight. Like, we've had callers call up and they said that they admitted that. They admitted, yeah, man, I probably should have checked my girl on this, but I didn't want to anger her because when she get mad, she act like she don't want to fuck. So you literally have guys that are prisoners in their own home, right, when it comes to pussy. Because they don't even want to check their women. Because they don't want to anger or upset their women because their women might not want to fuck. But if you take it back to when they very first met women, they had that mentality then. Oh, man, I really don't want to wait for sex. I really don't want to go out on a date over here. I really don't want to talk on the phone for an hour. But in order to get to that pussy, I got to build rapport with her. I got to make her comfortable. So guys are already setting themselves up to acquiesce to the woman just to get to the sex in the beginning. So when they get into the relationship, it's the same shit. They find themselves continually acquiescing to the woman. Oh, you know what? I really don't want to do that, but fuck it. I'll do it her way because I'm going to want some ass at the end of the night. And if I don't let her have her way, I'm not going to get it. And women aren't dumb. Women know when they have this type of hold over you. Women know when you're heavily influenced by sex. And I'm going to tell you right now, women do not respect you once they realize that. And that's going to make them less likely to want to have sex with you because you don't get them wet. Look, in order for a woman to get wet without you touching her, not only does she have to be sexually attracted to you, but she has to crave you. For her to literally be in another location away from you, and she gets wet at the thought of you touching her. She gets wet at the thought of hearing your voice. She gets wet at the thought of being in your physical presence. Right? You want it to be like that. I don't see why guys would get into a relationship with a woman if it wasn't like that. I wouldn't. Ain't no way in hell I'm getting in a relationship with a woman if I don't have it like that. You know what I'm saying? No. Because again, I don't want sex to be an issue in any relationship that I'm in. I don't want it to be an issue. There are too many other important things that need to be addressed, you know what I'm saying, or that might need to be addressed at some point without us having to haggle over sex, right? So, sex is not that important to haggle over, right? In my opinion, sex is not that important to haggle over. When we talk about being in a relationship, the sexual aspect of your relationship should literally be, hey, when we want to have some fun time, when we want to enjoy each other, when one or the both of us want to release some stress, that's what the sex is for, right? That's what the sex is for, right? But the other part of our relationship, right, we cannot have the other part of our relationship impacted because the sex is fucked up, right? So even in the clip y'all saw where the guy was like, oh, you know, I want my woman to initiate it. I want my woman to initiate sex, right? What happens is those guys usually end up becoming frustrated, a little resentful, maybe some animosity sets in. So sometimes what those guys might do is, you know what? I'm not going to take her out this weekend. You know what? That thing I said I was going to do, I'm not going to do it. You know, I'm not getting the type of sex I want, so fuck it. I'm not going to do the shit that she wants. Now, the fabric of the relationship, the dynamic of the relationship is starting to kind of fall apart, all because the sex situation wasn't handled. And because the sex situation wasn't handled, it's bleeding into the non-sexual component of your relationship, and these things are happening. That should not be happening. This is why you get sex out the way, you get that part of the relationship straight. This is why the fuck buddy situation, 3 or 4 months, you just fucking, you make sure that the sex can stand on its own by itself. And you don't allow it to come into the other aspects of your relationship. This is where all the fighting and the cheating and all that other bullshit go down, because you didn't handle something as simple as just making sure your sexual relationship is straight, right? Guys, I'm about to get up out of here. If you got a question, put a Q in the chat. Put a Q in the motherfucking chat. Uncle Guns, what's good, my brother? I want to make sure I didn't miss any questions. I think I got all the questions, y'all. I think I got all of the questions. If you got a question, I suggest you ask it right now. I suggest you ask it right now, y'all. There we go. So Jay says, what do you do if the sexual relationship gets fucked up? Get rid of the woman. Jay, you get rid of the woman. You get rid of the woman. The only time, in my earnest opinion, so I got to make sure I say in my earnest opinion. Not everybody going to agree with my assessment. The only time, in my opinion, you should make concessions for a funky sex life is if a woman, again, has a medical problem. There's something going on vaginally where she's in a lot of pain. Something going on where, or maybe again, she had a hysterectomy, so she just doesn't get horny, she doesn't get wet, but she's a great woman. So in those scenarios, you just got to tell the woman, hey, I know you're going through it, but you know me. You know how I get down with the sex shit. I understand you got something going on that can't be helped, but I'm going to be over here dealing with other women, right? You know, when I want to ease up in something wet and warm, since you got all that shit going on, I'm going to be over here doing my thing, right? I need you guys to understand. You again, this is assuming that you have a great relationship with the woman, but the sex is fucked up because of a medical reason. It has to be, it can't be because she's mad at you or she's giving you ultimatums, do this and do that, then I'll give you some ass. No, you need to get rid of women who do that. Like, you need, don't keep those women around. Any woman that tries to hold the pussy hostage and she wants you to do certain things to get to the access, to get access, or to free the hostage, which is the pussy. You can't let women, guys, you cannot let women dangle pussy over you. You cannot allow women to use sex to control you or access to them sexually to control you. And this is why in the very beginning, if a woman is fucking with you, you got to let her know, if you fucking with me, we fucking. Like, we doing that sooner rather than later. Because what you want to do is you want to take the power of the pussy away, right? You want to let her know, nah, if you fucking with me, you're not controlling that, right? But what it's really about is you simply dealing with women who actually want to fuck you. And they want it now. And then when you do have sex with them, they can't get enough of you, right? If you deal with women like that, you ain't got to worry about all this other shit. So Hoodrich says, how do you deal with a Bia that only wants to make out but never wants to put herself in position to get smashed? my question to you is, I'm looking at the word. Oh, I'm looking at she only wants to make out. Like there's multiple times. Like you let that happen more than once. Look, let me tell y'all the story. And it took me twice. It took me twice to realize how to handle certain women. So back when I was about 21, 22 years old, I was dealing with this chick. And I'm going to tell y'all the whole story, right? So that way y'all can understand that not everything is as it seems. So one night I was at a club. And it was a club I'd never been to before, right? I was there with a couple of my peoples. And we were at this club. And I hear a female's voice. She said my whole government name, first and last. And I hear this woman's voice call me, first and last name. And I'm like, who the fuck know me in here? I'm like, who the fuck know me in here? In this dark ass club to be calling me by my full government name, right? So I'm looking around and I see this girl, this short Hispanic girl. You know, she's cute, she's pretty. And I look at her. And I'm kind of dumbfounded because I don't recognize her. I'm like, who the fuck is this shit? So she tells me, she says, you don't know me, but I know you. Right? This is what she's telling me. You don't know me, but I know you. And I'm like, where you know me from? So she goes on to tell me, when we were in high school, you were a senior, and I think she was a freshman or a sophomore. Right? And she said, yeah, you play football, da, 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 da. I remember you and your brothers, blah, 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 blah. Right? So, bear in mind, she knew me. I didn't know her. So, in my mind, again, I'm 21, 22 years old, right? So, in my mind, I'm thinking, shit, you know, it's been a few years since I graduated high school. If she remembered me a few years later, she must want some dick, right? In my mind, that's what I'm thinking. So I hit her with the digits, tell her to come over. A couple of days later, and this is the real part of the story I want to tell. A couple of days later, a few days later, whatever it was, she comes over. We're sitting on the couch. We're making out a little bit. Now bear in mind, Hood Rich, she grabbed my hand. And at the time I had a 2-bedroom apartment. Right? I had a 2-bedroom crib. So she says, which bedroom is yours? And I point to it. And she grabs my hand and lead me to my room. Right? She grabbed me by my hand and said, let's get more comfortable in your bed. Right? So in my mind, I'm thinking we're about to go fuck. Like, this is what I'm thinking. Right? So we go in the room. As soon as we go in the room, I start taking off shit. And she's like, what are you doing? And I'm looking at her like, what the fuck you mean? What am I doing? Right? You know, I'm trying to let the beast out. Like, what do you mean? What am I doing? So she's like, no, I just want to lay in your bed and get comfortable and we can make out a little bit and just talk. And I'm like, oh, hell no. I'm like, oh, hell no. So I grab her hand and I lead her out the bedroom. And then I walk her to the door. And then I open the door. And I tell her, you need to go. True story, swear to God, right? Tell her, you got to go, right? So then she tells me this, Hood Rich. She tells me this. Can I come back? I'm like, yeah. When you're ready for this dick, you can come back. When you're ready, you can come back. So she leaves. And I ain't done yet. The story ain't over yet, right? So she leaves. A few days later, a week later, whatever it was, she calls me on the phone. She was like, is it okay if I come over tonight? And I tell her, and I'm making a point, right? I want y'all to listen to this whole story because I'm making multiple points within the story. So again, she calls me, she asks me, can she come over? And I tell her, do you remember what we talked about the last time you were here? And she was like, yes. And I told her to repeat it. I said, repeat what we talked about. And then she brought up the sex. And I said, so when you get here, we're doing what? We're having sex. And I told her, say it again. When you get here, we're doing what? She said, we're having sex. I'm like, all right, cool. You can come over. Right? Good, Rich. and this is why y'all can't worry about why women do what they do, because women do some kooky shit, right? So you would think she understands the assignment, right? So Hood Rich, she comes over, knocks on the door. I open the door. I don't let her in right away. I do not let her in right away, right? I keep her at the door. And I say, before you get into this crib, tell me what you're going to do when you get up in here. She was like, sex. And I said, no, tell me we going to have sex. I need you to consent to getting this dick before I let you up in here. And she was like, okay, we're going to have sex, Carrie. And I'm like, all right, now you can come in, right? So I let her in. As soon as I let her goofy ass in, and I closed the door, she starts talking to me about a boyfriend I didn't know she had. I didn't know she had a boyfriend. So she starts telling me about how she had a rough night with her boyfriend. And I'm like, oh, hell no. So Hood Rich, I grabbed her by the hand. I grabbed one hand like this, and I put my hand on the small of the back, and I pushed her to the door, opened the door, and said, you got to go. But, you know, can we just talk for a minute? Nope. Don't call me again. You can't come back over here. Close the door in her face, right? So my point is this, right? I don't fucking play. That's one, right? Two, when you say she only wants to make out, again, that implies that you're making out multiple times, right? It should be one time. If I'm making out with a woman, I'm getting touchy-feely. I'm trying to put my hands in various areas of her anatomy. If she stops me from touching things, I know she doesn't want to have sex, right? So Hood Rich, stay with me. That means she does not want to have sex. She won't let me touch her, right? She's down to make out, but she won't let me touch her in certain areas, which is cool. She's telling me, I just want to make out, but I don't want to have sex. So what I'm going to do immediately is I'm going to stop making out with her. I'm going to be like, if we ain't fucking, we ain't doing this. You ain't about to get me all hot and bothered. You know what I'm saying? So hell no, right? So once I stop making out with her, what I'm going to tell her at that point is, when you're ready to make this happen, you have my number. Meaning, she can't see me again unless she consents to go all the way with it. I'm not going to have you at my crib. I'm not going to be at your crib. I'm not going to be at some hotel room. I'm not going to keep playing with you where we just making out like a bunch of fucking high school kids. No, we're adults. We're adults. We're grown-ups. Don't play with me. You know what I'm saying? But y'all let women play with y'all. I don't let women play with me. I get rid of them. You know what I'm saying? I get rid of them real quick. Like, I hear of dudes when women come to y'all crib, the chick won't let you fuck, and then an hour or two later, she's still there. Once I realize the chick don't want to fuck, nigga, I'm trying to beat my world record of how quick I got rid of her. If I got rid of her in 1 minute the first time, I'm trying to figure out a way to trim it down to 30 seconds. I'm trying to get rid of her now. Get out. But here's the thing. Whenever you kick a woman out of your crib, be extra nice. Be super sweet. Do not be rude. Don't get mad. Don't argue. Don't say nothing fucked up to the woman. Just politely lead her to the door and say you got to go. You got to go home. Don't tell her to get the fuck out. Don't curse. Don't do none of that. Okay? You don't want no problems with that shit, right? So calmly lead her to the door. Now, And that same, here's the funny part, Hood Rich, here's the funny part. The chick that I kicked out twice, the first time I kicked her out, I actually walked her to her car. I'm not going to lie to y'all. The first time I kicked her out, I walked her to her car. Right? I conveniently left that part out of the story and shit. But I'm telling y'all right now. Okay, the first time I walked her to her car. Right? It was dark. And I just say, I offered. I said, you know what, let me. I closed the door on her, then I opened it up. And I said, let me walk you to your car real quick. Right? So now the second time she came over, when I kicked her out, she asked me, was I going to walk into her car? And I'm like, I'm sure you know where you parked it. So I didn't. The second time, you know what I'm saying? I was irritated. The first time I was just taken aback by it. The second time I was irritated simply because I got her to verbalize what we was going to do, only for her to, play with your boy when she got into the crib, right? So I just said, no, I ain't walking you nowhere. You know what I'm saying? You know where that motherfucker is. Good luck, right? But don't let women play with you. That's what I'm trying to say. Don't let women do that. You know what I'm saying? And don't get mad. It's okay to be disappointed. Guys, I've been there. You're dealing with a woman. You're sexually attracted to her. You like her body. You're like, You're already envisioning in your mind what you're going to do to her sexually. She act like she want to have sex. And then at the last minute, she act like she ain't about it. And in your mind, you're like, damn, I had plans, girl. I changed my sheets this morning. I had already envisioned in my head what I was going to do to you. It's okay to be disappointed. But you got to get rid of her. You got to get rid of her, though. You can't let women play with you, man. She said the sex was amazing, but still pulled away. Why did this happen? Because she wants more than just sex. She wants more than just sex. And there's another reason why women pull away. But Double K, in some cases, she wants more than just sex. And let me also say this real quick. I don't want guys to get it twisted. If you're dealing with a woman that you are engaging in casual sexual encounters with, and if she wants more than just sex, it does not mean that she wants more than just sex with you. I need you guys to understand that. So if you're dealing with a woman and you guys are having sex and she pulls away, in many cases, it's because she wants more than just sex, but not necessarily with you, right? It could be another guy that she's more interested in having an actual relationship with. Because sometimes women will have sex with you. You're great. You're a great lover. They love having sex with you, but they don't view you as somebody they would introduce to their peoples. They don't view you as somebody they could kick it with beyond just sex. But there's another guy or other guys they can see themselves kicking it with, and maybe one of those guys decided to take them seriously. So they leave you alone, and then they go with the other guy, right? Now, there's another reason why a woman might pull away, right? And that is she knows she's getting caught up. Okay, women will do this. If a woman is dealing with you and you're fucking her too good, and I've had this happen, right? And I'm not bragging. I'm just saying I've had this happen, right? So that way, when I tell y'all what I'm about to tell y'all, y'all can know why I'm telling you it, right? Sometimes when the sex is too good, some women feel like they're going to lose control, right? Because they really, really like you. They're really feeling you. Like everything about you they like. And on top of that, you're fucking the shit out of them, and it's too good, right? It's too good to the point where they feel like they're going to start tripping. They feel like they might get a little clingy. They feel like they might start claiming the dick. They feel like they might lose control, and they might make certain decisions that they told themselves they would never make again, but they feel themselves losing control with you. So a lot of times they will remove themselves from your life because the dick is too good. And it's not just about the sex. It's also about they're having these feelings that they didn't think they would have, right? When they met you, they might have said, you know what? I'm not looking for a relationship. I just want a guy to dick me down. But then they meet you and they're like, I thought I didn't want a relationship, but damn it, this guy, he got me in la la land. He got my head in the clouds, right? So sometimes they'll back away from you as a way to, save themselves from getting emotionally fucked up and getting too close, only to have you reject them later, right? So a lot of times it's like they're playing defense. Like I'm really feeling him. I don't think he's feeling me like I'm feeling him. I know he's dealing with other women, and I don't want to feel like he's gonna reject me. So let me just stop fucking with him now. So that happens too. But you shouldn't concern yourself with it. Let me just say that. Guys, anytime a woman wants to leave, never ask a woman why. It doesn't matter why. It's irrelevant why. It's kind of like a guy with a mask on coming up to you, robbing you, telling you, give me all your shit. And you asking him, why are you robbing me? Did you have a hard life? Did you lose your job recently? Or you a drug addict? What brings you here today? What makes you want to rob me? Right? It doesn't matter why he's robbing you. He's there to rob you. You're getting robbed. So the reasoning behind it has nothing to do with the action taking forth. So when a woman pulls away, it doesn't matter why. She's pulling away. Let her pull away. Let her go. Right? And I don't ask. Look, let me tell y'all something. I don't ask women shit. If a woman doesn't call me as much as she used to, if I'm not seeing her as much as I used to, I never ask why. I just accept it as it is. She changed her mind. She's fucking with somebody else. She's no longer interested. For whatever reason, I don't care. I just move on. As you should. You should move on. Right? If you really want to save your peace, if you want tranquility in your life, peace in your life, and you want to be drama-free, when women in your life start distancing themselves on their own, let them go. Don't ask them why. Don't try and, let me do this or do that to get her to come back around. No, let her go. Let her go. Let her go. Let her go. So Jasmine says, and most times we women run and we realize it's too late. Yeah. It's true too. So the homie says, so I see her every day at work. Yeah, fucking with these coworkers. Should I go about dealing with that now that I'm going to stop letting her play with me? Bro, stop fucking with her. See, y'all guys, man. See, this is why we tell you guys, don't fuck with chicks at the job. See, y'all need to have a zero tolerance policy, right? Guys, you have to have a program. You have to have an ironclad way that you deal with women. And it should be consistent. I don't care if you met a woman at work. I don't care if you met a woman at a bar mitzvah. I don't care if you met a woman at a festival, a bar, a gas station, online dating, wherever. Your dating rules, how you handle women, should be drum tight. It should be ironclad, right? I'll just use myself as an example. I'm not fucking with no chick that ain't fucking. I'm not fucking with you. If we ain't fucking, I'm not fucking with you. It doesn't matter if I met you at work. It doesn't matter where I met you at. The rules apply. I'm not adjusting my dating rules based on where I met you at. I'm not deviating from my dating rules because you seem religious. My dating rules have nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with me and me minimizing bullshit, me minimizing drama in my life. That's why those rules exist. So I can get rid of women that aren't supposed to be there. So to your case, right, you work with this chick. You're letting this chick play with you. Bro, I've dealt with coworker chicks. I know the difference between coworker chicks who want the dick down versus the ones who just like the attention. Right, y'all got to remember, look, let me tell y'all something. Y'all got to remember, a lot of these girls that y'all work with, they got boyfriends. They got listen to me. Listen to what I'm telling you, Hood Rich. I'm giving you some game right now. A lot of these co-worker chicks y'all be dealing with, they got boyfriends. And the reason why they're fucking with you is because their boyfriend isn't servicing their emotional needs. Okay, listen to what I'm telling you. Because their boyfriends are not servicing their emotional needs. So what they do is they fuck with you at work because you're giving them all this attention, all of this validation. So you're literally a stand-in. You're a stand-in for the boyfriend. You're not a stand-in for your dick. You are a stand-in to service her emotions. How is she getting her emotions serviced? By making out with you, giving you the misleading impression that sex will happen. And what are you going to do? You're going to flirt with her all goddamn day. You're going to smile at her. You're going to make goo-goo eyes at her, right? You're probably going to walk by her desk and wink at her and touch her hand. You're doing all of this shit that her man ain't doing. And she's like, good. I am getting some of what my man can't give me at work. You are a work husband. But you're the work husband that don't get no pussy. You're the work husband where you're just giving her some affection. Something she probably missing at home and shit. Like, yo, man. Y'all better stop fucking. Look, let me tell y'all something. Y'all gotta stop letting women play with y'all. Like, look. Y'all gotta literally adopt a mindset. If we ain't fucking, we're not doing nothing. Guys, repeat after me. If we're not fucking, we're not doing nothing. I need to put that shit on a t-shirt. I think I had it on a t-shirt. I need to put it on a t-shirt again and shit. If we're not fucking, we're not doing nothing. We're fucking first. Let's get the fucking out the way. Right? Again, I need to see if she's cooperative. I need to see if she's going to show me deference, humble submission, and respect. Right? So if she humbly submits to me, that means she's deferring to me. If she's showing me deference, that means she respects me. That means she respects my time. So if she's deferring to me and she respects my time, having sex isn't a big deal. After all, she's submitting to me, right? And she's respecting my time. So having sex should not be a big deal if she is sexually attracted to me. Because if she isn't, then her having sex with me is a big deal for her because she don't view me that way. What up, Steve? All right, fellas, that's about it. Yo, guys, why women hold back from initiating sexual relationships? I'm going to tell you right now, if you're in a relationship with a woman who is, one, sexually attracted to you, two, she craves your touch. She can't get enough of your touch, right? Whether it's your fingers, your tongue, your penis, the toys y'all use, whatever it is y'all do sexually, she can't get enough of you. She will initiate sex. A woman who is sexually attracted to you that loves having sex with you will initiate sex. I can't tell you how many times I have been woken up out of my sleep and a chick slobbing me down, or a woman on top sliding it in or trying to slide it in while I'm still sleeping, right? I can't tell you. Or a woman just literally shaking me gently. Baby, wake up. Baby, kissing on me. Mm-hmm. Baby, wake up. Wake up. Then they whisper in my ear, I want dick. I want dick. Right? When a woman is feeling you like that, they're going to initiate it. Right? And let me just say this in closing, right? Because even when guys first meet women, a lot of guys often ask, how come women don't initiate sex when it's the first time or when it's new? Y'all got to remember that in those scenarios, some women are worried about rejection, because rejection looks different for women than it does for us, right? So they're worried about rejection in some cases. They're also worried about judgment. He's going to think I'm easy. He's going to think I'm a hoe if I let him know that I want it and I'm fiending for it, right? So they got to concern themselves with that, right? And other times, women just aren't all that sexually attracted to you to initiate it. They don't want it that bad. Look, do y'all know women will have sex with you and they will have a take it or leave it mentality? I mean, I could have sex with them or I could not. You know what? I'm bored. I haven't had a good nut in a while. You know what? Maybe I'll get lucky and he'll actually know what he's doing. Fuck it, I'll give it to him. Right? A lot of guys are getting sex from women who have that kind of mindset. No, you want a chick who's fiending for you. Right? And let me just say this. If you're dealing with a woman and y'all are making out and she never reaches for your joint, she ain't sexually attracted to you. I'm telling you right now. Now, I am not saying that just because a woman touches your penis through your clothes, that sex is going to happen. I'm not telling you that either. What I am telling you is if you're making out with a woman and y'all are making out and she never reaches for your shit, she ain't thinking about sex like that. Because most women are going to be curious. They're going to want to know what it feels like. They're going to want to know. They're going to want to get some type of inkling as to what you're working with, right? So Jazzy Jazz with the 2, she says, great show, amazing as always, Zach. Salute to you. Good night to you. Good night to you as well. Good night to you. On that note, y'all, I'm about to get the fuck up out of here. Like, share, subscribe. Guys, make sure you're choosing the right women that fit into your life seamlessly. They fit perfect, like a puzzle piece. That includes the sexual relationship you have. And if you want more than sex, that includes how they act outside of the bedroom. You want those two things to stand independently of each other. You want the sex to stand by itself, and you want the non-sexual shit y'all do, the time y'all spend together, you want that to stand by itself. You don't want those two things to merge, right? Because that's going to impact the frequency of the sex you have based on whether or not she's angry at you and shit. Right? You don't want her using, oh, I'm mad because you forgot to do this. Or I asked you to stop by the store and then you get home, oh shit, girl, I forgot. See, that's what I mean. You always forgetting shit. You know what I'm saying? That's why I'm not fucking you tonight. I'm irritated, right? You don't want those type of situations occurring in your relationship. Then you got to fuck around and get rid of the chick, right? Now, some of y'all might be like, well, I'm just going to cheat. No. And let me just say this real quick. I said I was going to go, but let me say this. Because I saw this in a Facebook group where a guy said, if my woman stops having sex with me or she's doing it infrequently, I'm just going to cheat on her. And I'm like, bro, let me tell you what a grown man would do. If you have to confront your woman about the lack of sex, don't cheat on her. Just tell her to her face. If you don't get your mind right, you're going to be sharing this dick. And as far as getting your mind right, that starts tonight. Now, guys, if you don't got it like that, if you ain't the kind of guy that can go score casual sex like that, I don't know what to tell you. But if your woman knows that she has a player for life, like even if you're sexually exclusive, but you have that player vibe, you've dealt with multiple women, you can get women easily, not a problem. If your woman knows you're that type of guy, it's unlikely she's going to play games with the sex because she knows you. She knows you ain't got no problem, right? In my opinion, I think women who are more likely to play games with sex like that are women who are probably dealing with men where they don't think those men got it like that. They don't think those men can get it like that. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong. I don't know. But on that note, I'm going to holler at y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. Tomorrow, 7 p.m., the sex talk show myself, and Steve the Dean Williams. I'm going to holler at y'all. Peace.